The stream is live. Okay, we are.
We are live, Luigi? Yeah?
One, two, three. Wait, it's doing the countdown. Yeah, you're like.
Okay. Good. Okay, good morning, everyone. So, thank you for joining us online or watching this later. We're here to present Reforesting for Peace and talk about the power of storytelling in filmmaking as a power of change, a power of mechanism to engage people. And to introduce this project and to introduce Global Youth Coalition, that is the organization that is behind all of this, I will call Luigi here that will talk more about Global Youth Coalition and how Refreshing for Peace started, this idea, and our main goals for the next year.
Hi everyone, how are you? It's lovely to have you all here today. So I'm going to be talking about how the Global Youth Coalition started, where it's going, and where it's at right now. Could we have the next slide? Okay, so first of all, I'm Luigi. I'm the vice chairperson of the Global Youth Coalition. I'm 18, and COP27 was practically the birth of the Global Youth Coalition. So we had a meeting with Antonio Guterres, and I gave a speech at COP27. We received a standing ovation, but we talked about the importance of having accessibility because a lot of youth are empowered, but not a lot of youth have the access to make an actual impact or to make an actual change. So after that happened, all of the youth gathered around together. We decided that we needed something to connect through. We needed to have some sort of organization. So we created the Global Youth Coalition, and yeah, that's how it started. And I'm going to talk about where we are right now. I'm happy to say that we got over 10,000 applicants for our program called the Oxford Net Zero Training Program. We educated around 6,000 people about the, thank you, Augustin. Okay, so we educated about 6,000 people on negotiation processes, how they can genuinely navigate through the topics, navigate through the science, and all of that. And here today with us, we have the Climate Guidebook, which is basically a book with a summary of all of the sessions that we gave. And yeah, it's a great book. Hopefully everyone here is going to be able to read it. I'm just going to put this here. You can get the book online. And yeah, hopefully. It's for free. Okay, there you go. You didn't know that? Okay. And wait. Should I introduce Reforesting for Peace? Okay. And now for my favorite program, because it's the more fun one, Reforesting for Peace. So what Reforesting for Peace is it's basically a program that aims to get everyone who's not in the climate bubble into the climate bubble, but indirectly. And how are we going to do that? Using filmmaking and storytelling, because those are two things that everyone absolutely loves. So we're going to take their passion and their love for stories, movies, Instagram, social media in general, and then they're going to what's it called? And then we're going to teach them how to use those skills to create short documentaries, how to create conscious climate content that's actually going to be seen and actually going to pull people into the climate bubble without them realizing that they're being pulled in, basically. And we're also going to do something else. We're going to provide 500 NGOs with filmmaking equipment, and then volunteers can go take videos, videos, photos, content for social media, and I'll post it on the Instagram accounts and social media accounts of the NGOs, therefore getting them more awareness, and then they're also getting experience, and they're also learning more about their local communities and how they can help in their local communities. So that is Reforesting for Peace. And yeah, there you go, August.
Thank you very much, Luigi, for this introduction of what is Global Youth Coalition, the amazing work that we did during the last year, and also what we are planning for the next one. And Shananine, it's a Global Youth Coalition champion, and she was supposed to be here, but she had a bit of a problem. So I'll call Augustine now to talk about the importance of nature-based solution and why this is one of our focus in Reforesting for Peace, and why we need to engage more people on projects that work around nature-based solutions.
Thank you so much, Marina, for that. And yes, so unfortunately, Shananin could not come today, but I'm happy to talk about nature-based solutions. More than explaining what they are, is explaining how we are involving these into storytelling and filmmaking, and moreover into our, as Lu Jane was sharing, our funnier program, Reforesting for Peace. So during this year, I was traveling around the planet, and I was asking to myself how we can increase the amount of awareness around what's going on in the planet. And even though that we were already training 5,000 people together with the University of Oxford through their program Oxford Net Zero, I end up understanding that we have to reach a different level of advocacy, or a different way of sharing the information. Therefore, we created the Reforesting for Peace program, and how nature-based solutions are involved in this. So, as you can see, Jananin was supposed to be speaking about this, and she's an indigenous youth advocate. So, nature-based solutions are solutions based on nature, of course. But what does this mean? We have coral reefs, jungle, seagrass, mangroves, these kind of solutions that somehow are increasing the amount of greener spaces in planet Earth, or even bluer ones. And when we are talking about reforesting for peace, people is thinking at the beginning that we will be planting trees. But actually, the meaning comes from the fact that we will be seeding an idea into people's minds around reef forests taking action around peace, and is how we are involving the nature-based solutions, because there's a lot of people that are already taking place around the planet on these kind of initiatives, but they are lacking in something important: how to create compelling content around these solutions. And sometimes these people that are biologists or engineers or just people that loves nature, and they don't necessarily need to know how to create a compelling video, how to create a interesting reel. It takes time from their already busy schedule. On the other hand, on the side, we all have friends that are creating content all over and over in TikTok, social media in general. And we decided that the content that we will be creating will go around the nature-based solutions, and each of the plant, coral reefs, seagrass that is planted will be recognized as a symbol of peace. So we will have, unfortunately, we don't have this amazing uh, heat map that we have. But if you want to check it out, you can come to our next session when we are launching the Reforesting for Peace initiative. Today, we are more talking about how it was built. And yeah, it's basically how we are involving ourselves. Each plant, tree, coral reef will be a symbol of peace, and we will promote nature-based solutions by giving the people the tools and the knowledge to increase the awareness around these solutions, this way of tackle down your carbon footprint. And therefore, you don't need to be involved 100% in planting a tree, but you can be friend of those people by creating them the content. So it's how we are involving nature-based solutions, and it's how we are involving indigenous youth communities. During this next year, we'll try people that will be in Spain, Egypt, Brazil, from, and each of us will try to connect with indigenous communities to bring them to our program, because we have to reach the grassroots people that are already advocating and they don't have access to these platforms. There's a lot of people that knows how to create a content, but we have to reach the people that is not just interested in climate change, but also not interested on content creation. And yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Augustine. This was very good, very informative. That nature-based solutions are beyond just a name and has a lot of more involved in that. So now I'll invite here to take the floor, Clara. There is. Okay, we have a message.
Maybe you can introduce him, or can you introduce
Okay, so our next speaker is Terry Tamminen. Terry Tamminen is the CEO of Alta-C. Alta-C focuses on nature-based solutions, and they're going to be helping us with the Reforesting for Peace program. And he has a message since he couldn't be here today. So we're just going to play the message in a short video, and we hope that you all enjoy it because he is a very he's very educative, he's very creative, and we want you all to learn from him. And he's also the previous CEO of the previous president of the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation. So we'd love for you to learn from him. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Terry Tamminen, the president and CEO of Alta-C in the Port of Los Angeles. We are a blue tech business, education, and workforce hub right here in California, helping to invent and invest in solutions to the climate and sustainability crisis of our planet right here in the Port of Los Angeles with solutions from the ocean. Things like aquaculture and new kinds of underwater robotics, ways to feed the planet and power the planet with wave and tidal energy. But when I stand inside our warehouse where a lot of this magic is taking place, it doesn't mean as much as when I walk out here onto our wharf and you can see the ocean for yourself. That's the power of film. You can take people from the comfort of their easy chair or living room or office and bring them right to the ecosystem that you're trying to protect or work with. That's the power of young people with great ideas that we see here at Alta-C every single day. Kids from kindergarten all the way through high school and college, and young professionals who are inventing these solutions in and from the ocean. The power of film, the power of everything that you're doing is so crucial to the future of our planet. I can't thank you enough. And I wish you every success with your effort at reforesting our planet and preserving it for the next generation. Thank you.
Well, I think in 1 minute or less, Terry could summarize the importance of reforesting for peace, that we are making videos and we are showing people the importance of nature-based solutions, but yeah, we're taking them out of their comfort zone, and yeah, that was amazing. So now I invite to take the floor, Clara. There is our what? Yeah, of course. There is our project lead in Reforesting for Peace and works a lot with our social media strategy. She will share a bit more about that. And that's it. Come here, Clara.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna place myself here because I need my tools as well. Okay, hello. Thank you, Marina, for the introduction. I'm Clara. I'm the project leader from Reforesting for Peace. And I mean, maybe I'm in the wrong pavilion because personally, I'm not a huge fan of all these words about technology, innovation, digital. Like, I'm super connected to nature, right? So I'm more into nature-based solutions. That is what we are doing with Reforesting for Peace. Because I personally don't think that we need like to create new solutions, like to create more innovation. I think we are not, although we are not smarter than Mother Earth. So all the solutions we need, they are already there. But unfortunately, we live on a digital era and we cannot escape from it. but adapt to it, right? So I believe we need to reconnect with nature because our relation with nature is fully broken. So how can we do that when the only thing that we are connected to is the internet? Me as well, like of course. But so what about, we were thinking with Reflecting for Peace, what about bringing those nature-based solutions to the screen, to the eyes of everyone, because everyone is on their screen daily, right? So social media is not just about sharing, like cat videos, although they're pretty awesome, of course. I believe it's like a double-edged sword. Like it has its good part and it's not that good part, but we want to use the right edge, right? So I believe on the powers of social media, uh, and as a powerhouse of activism where we can connect with each other and inspire each other, right? And ignite that spark of action. I believe this because, I mean, I was a victim of this. I remember myself being influenced by social media at the beginning of my activism. I remember one of the first influencers that I follow, and now, well, we can call it environmental influencer or whatever. Now it's a good friend of mine. I remember when I saw her at the very beginning, when like climate and all these things were not a like cool thing. Still, they are not, but yeah, it was kind of weird because she started like to post how she was planting trees with a NGO, and I was like, hmm, I want to do the same, because of course I have a care about nature, but how can I put in practice that care? So she inspired me to connect with this NGO, with this project, and also I started to do the same. So I'm a model, and my content before was just about me modeling and, like very superficial. So I started like to join more these NGOs projects and showcase how I was volunteer with them, how I was planting a tree, how I was cleaning the plastic from a beach. And I saw this ripple effect the same way I experienced that when I saw that video. And a lot of people that was following me just because they know me, or they like to just follow me because I'm a fashion model, they were like, oh wow, how can I get involved? I also want to do that. So I saw that definitely social media has a power of influence, and it sparked that action on people. So yeah, at the end, it might be because of truthful and genuine reasons that people want to join these movements, or just because they want to use them as greenwash. We already know that as well. So many companies also do that. But whatever the reason is behind, I think right now it's a good trend. Like it's a trend that we need to push. Like better to have a trend where you are like, like doing good for the planet, that I don't know, like showing a haul of some like brand and showing like consumerism and all of this, right? So I think it's very good to raise awareness about climate change, but also to good to show the solutions. That's what we are doing, because the problem that I found also studying like communications and climate in climate and sustainability is basically that climate change has a really bad marketing, basically, for several reasons. I mean, like environmental issues like often are portrayed in a way that are boring for most of the people that are not into the field. So the urgency of climate change doesn't always translate into compelling and engaging narratives. Also the emotional connection, like it's so hard to connect with things that are very far from us, that they are like bigger than us, and that we cannot relate on, like it's very hard to find emotion out there, and also the complexity of the language and the jargon that we use. Like if you are not in the climate uh, thing, in the climate gang, you don't understand so many words that we use, basically. So it's very important in that aspect as well, what we are doing, and also focusing solely in the problems but not in the solution creates like a feeling of hopelessness, right? So it's important, of course, to showcase the problems but also the solutions to engage the action. So next slide, please. Storytelling is something that I'm not an expert yet, but it's a field that I love to exploring, and I'm learning a lot during this COP. But it's something that we want to focus with Reforesting for Peace, and doing a little bit of research of what are the digital campaigns that are in climate or related to the environment and nature that are really being successful, I found like some things that they have in common. By instance, visuals. I think visuals are super important. That's what makes you really to connect with something. Like if I tell you that something is happening out there in the Amazonas, but you don't really see it through an image or a video, it's very hard to connect. So it's very important, like to showcase in a visual way. Some of the things that I found here on these inspiring case studies is that, for example, they are a little bit different. They are a little bit disruptive. In United Nations, with this environmental, the environmental program of United Nations did this campaign, and it was the first time, like like they do something a little bit different, like bringing a T-Rex to the General Assembly was something like, oh wow, next level. And also using like, well, we have also the case of Greta Thunberg. Of course, she inspired like a big action and movement, which is Fridays for Future. So of course, you see there like kind of like the correlation in terms of a little bit more disruption, not the general thing. Then using voices of influencers or people that are not necessarily like into the field, as this YouTuber, Mr. Okay, yeah. Basically, he's not into this field, and the fact that he just, like make a easy video saying, "I'm gonna plant 20,000 trees. I need your help," is very important because the people admire them already for who they are or what they do. So engaging with them in such a way is also one of the strategies that we are trying to do in Reforesting for Peace. Try to bring these voices of influences that are not related to climate necessary, and make them part of our family, also to showcase the projects that we want to do next year. Also here in the campaign of Yasuni, I find that it's very important to talk in first person, to tell a story, really a story. It's not okay, like the government want to erase all this land in the Yasuni, and it's very important. They are gonna kill so many animals. Yeah, it sounds like something that is happening in many places. But the fact that we have a woman telling from herself her story is, it makes you like have more empathy, because you just need to focus on that story and that person. And as social beings, we cannot have that global empathy, like to care about the whole planet. It's very hard to care about all problems. But if I give you one story and one person, or one story about this animal, and we personify that animal, and we put him a name, it's more easy, to connect with that. It's for example, I experienced this because so many times I used to talk about the problems that are happening, I don't know, like in the rainforest of Amazonas, and I would tell you, yeah, in Amazonas, this corporation about energy and oil, they started like to contaminate all the rivers in Ecuador. All the indigenous communities were displaced, and all the resources that they were depending on, they were destroyed. So many animals die. Yeah, it sounds like something that you have heard a lot of times. But what if I tell you, you know, I am the voice of Mother Nature, and I'm so sad. I'm so sad because in 1963, this corporation came to me and started perforating my soils where people used to dance before. I don't hear their feet on the ground anymore. I don't hear the songs of the people that used to talk about me and sing about me. The only thing I'm hearing is the cries of people that are being displaced of of me, because I am their home. I am the home of all these creatures that I don't see anymore. And I feel so sad because they are destroying me. I feel the pain. I can feel the pain on my trees, on my rivers that are now like full of just black blood, you know? When you start like making a very personal from the first, like, yeah, very personal story, it's more easy to connect with what you are showing, basically. So I think it's very important. That's also what is happening on the series, very very good series, by the way. They are in YouTube, by Conservation International, where they are not only using famous people voice, but they are like Julia Roberts is Mother Nature, I think. Other Mark Ruffalo, also, like all these actors are putting a voice to the oceans, to the jungle, to the soil, to Mother Earth. So it's like inanimated or not humans things are having a voice. So I think that's very important into storytelling. Um, okay, next slide, I think. This is my friend John Careaga, and for me, is one of the best content creators in terms of climate activism in Spain. He has grown so fast in, I think, 2 years, and I love him. So the other day, I called him to give me like some tips, about how he create all these videos that for me were so inspired at the beginning of my activism as well. And he studied marketing, and I think this is very important because sometimes we think that because we're like so passionate about the environment, we don't need marketing, we just need passion. But every single story we tell, we need to put a marketing strategy behind, otherwise it's so hard to sell that, right? So I think it's very important to connect the passion of activism, but be smart and have a strategy behind, and it's fair and it's legal, it's moral. So he said, okay, first of all, identify your audience. Okay. And that's something that we really did with Reforesting for Peace. For climate activists, when we are talking among us with the Global Youth Coalition or here in this conference, of course, we are going to use like more technical approach, more technical language, and also more radical, because these people is already on the ground. So what we need them to do is just to act. We don't need them to be aware, but to act, to mobilize them, right? But if it's for a broader audience, we need to use easier language, as I was saying before. We need to, like, tell them what they want to hear, make it easy, and gradually like involve them in our gang, in our team. So that's what we are doing with Reforesting for Peace. We try to reach the next gen, the Gen Zeta, the millennials, and we need to act like that, because we cannot pretend we are always in these bureaucratic places and that we are the smartest ones and using all these technical approaches. No, we are talking to people that are like us, so let's make it easy. um, Other thing is compelling narratives, of course. Something that he used, and I think is very important, is to start with the why. In his case, he advocates for human rights, especially in the fashion system. He has traveled to Bangladesh, one of the most polluted countries about fashion, and he always on his videos start like, well, I'm doing this because basically I went to Bangladesh and I saw the reality there, and it was so overwhelming that I decided to raise awareness about what's going on here. So it's very important sometimes to start with the why. In my case, for example, I would say that I have been always so connected with nature in such a way, but when I was starting to modeling, I just forgot that connection. I forgot for so long. And after 1 year working, I was like, something's missing. Like, this is not like fulfilling as I thought. And then I realized how nature and animals like changed my whole behavior and my whole thing. And I was like, okay, now I want to do something to protect them. Like, modeling is not a thing anymore for me that is really attached to my heart, but nature and animals is what really moves me. It's for what I wake up for every day. So that's what I want to do. So it's very important to have your own why. Then, third, highlight the problem. Of course, highlight the problem is very important. Sometimes you need like the shock approach, like, this is what is happening. But very important as well, introduce the solutions. That's what we are focused more as Reforesting for Peace, because again, if you just show the problems, people freeze, people feel hopeless. So we need, of course, like a little bit of climate optimism, showing that you are not alone. There's a lot of people out there making amazing things that can inspire you also to take action. Of course, use emotions, super important. You need really to engage with the emotions of the people. That's why storytelling is a thing. Create a call to action as well. like what we are doing, what you are doing, the project that you are seeing, you can also do it in your country, in your region. Is very important. Using visuals, as I said, is not just a story. Sometimes a story doesn't need visuals, I have to say, when you are like very specific and descriptive. And books are also amazing telling stories, but where we are focusing is on filmmaking. So I really believe on the power of visuals, and sometimes an image doesn't need more words than an image. And consistency and creativity as well is something that we want to push for our content creators, and be real and transparent. That's very important as well. So I think I'm kind of done, right? Let's go.
Yeah, we can. Okay, so thank you very much. What is this working? Thank you very much, Clara, for delve into more about social media, the power of like this is can catalyze action. And now we'll invite Augustine again to talk more about Reforesting for Peace as this innovative project and initiative. And that's it.
Thank you so much. Now I will. This is my part because before Chanani was not coming, but she was teaching me what's nature-based solutions that I hope I kind of like explain. And here, what are we seeing here, and what did we see during this session? When we were creating this compelling of slides, Clara was the designer behind this, but I also decided that we will just show our Instagram, some photos of our Instagrams, because then we are already telling a story. You can imagine yourself which who is behind the microphone at this point. And I choose three photos. First one, I'm traveling around the Middle East after COP27, realizing that we need to advocate deeper instead of, I mean, there's roles for everyone, but my role right now is to advocate deeper and globally. The second one is the moment where we were actually launching the Global Youth Coalition. And again, thank you to the Digital Innovation Pavilion for giving us the chance for second year to present this our second program. The first time that we were just presenting there, we just randomly asked them if we can have their space, and they say like, yes, let's give a chance to these youngsters. And then we were launching the Global Youth Coalition was launched at COP27 in the Digital Innovation Pavilion. And yeah, thank you for that. And the third one is something that I have been working on in fostering global unity for effective climate action at all level. I was talking with the G77 president during these days. I was talking with the Minister of Environment of Spain. I have been crossing messages with one of the foreign ministers of one of the G7 countries. And is how we are doing with the Global Youth Coalition, and we were advocating policy making for actions. But now we are turning a bit. Some of our members will go to the storytelling and filmmaking. So before we continue, I would like you to present the official video of the Reforesting for Peace initiative.
1 million species of animals and plants around the world are now at risk of extinction.
So I will ask the Digital Innovation Pavilion now if you want to help us open a donation space for blockchain. I'm happy to do it. I don't know how to do it, but I guess you know. And yes, you can reach us and take action at theglobalyouth.co. And this is our Instagram, Reforesting for Peace. And something that I want to share about this video is that during this week, I was invited to one We Don't Have Time roundtable online, and everyone was somehow talking about climate change. What are we doing? What's going on? And then we played the video, and it was really impressive to see that everyone just watching at the Reforesting for Peace video, and then the music came, and everyone randomly started to dance in front of the camera, and the energy of the call changed completely. So is at that moment I was understanding this is what we want to do with this project. We want to flip the idea that climate change is something, of course, dramatic it is, but we do have the solutions. We have been innovating enough during all these years, 2023, and now we are ready to tackle down with the solutions that are already doing and going, and Reforesting for Peace will push them through social media. So what's the Reforesting for Peace initiative? We will be capacity building for 5,000 youngsters, 500 NGOs that will start creating after we gear them up. This is the dream. But I'm happy to share that during COP28, I have been having certain meetings with the World Bank, with the African Bank. Some founders like CCG, they are interested on helping us reach the $1 million to provide 500 youth-led NGOs with one drone, one personal camera, and one phone, because this project is not just creating content. We are opening a gate to green jobs. We are creating a sustainable stock video platform, and we are not just giving capacities, but we are intending to give tools. And these tools will be able to, we will open the doors to the nature-based solutions to start getting data. And that's important nowadays. During this COP, I was having another meeting with the UN Youth Envoy, is brand new guy, and they were sharing that there's an intention of including the youngsters as one of the providers for the data in the new NDC processes. So if we want the youngsters to provide the data, we need to provide them with the tools. And so 5,000 young individuals producing 500 impactful films from day one and collaborating with 500 conservancy projects. Reforesting for Peace has the potential to reach millions of people. We did last year with the Oxford Net Zero training program. Our first session reached almost 14,000 views. And something that I like a lot about this is that every time that I'm speaking about this, I'm just increasing the number because people is still watching our videos again and again. And if we did that with kind of like boring code knowledge, imagine what we'll reach with champs like Clara, Luigi, Marina, that are helping us from their own perspectives and pushing the chairperson of the Global Youth Coalition to do better with sometimes not that many smiles. But yeah, and I think this is the Reforesting for Peace initiative. Now we have an exercise that came from, we were brainstorming with Clara the other day, and Reforesting for Peace is R4P. So we launched the Reel for Purpose challenge, and I encourage you all to take the challenge, create a short reel sharing one thing that you learned at COP. Tag a friend who wanted to be at COP but couldn't make it. There's a lot of people that lack of visa, fundings, or they could just not come to COP. Encouragement, this is important. Tell them to share their project or idea for the planet, and let's hack the algorithm together. How? Just tag the Reforesting for Peace, use all hashtags, Real for Purpose, R4P, R4P challenge, and then it's a networking opportunity. We will start, COP is all about networking, and we should not be the privileged ones. We need to be here opening doors to other people and help those who couldn't attend to connect globally. Be a node of energy. How? Through social media. Thanks. Oh,
No, it's fine. Like I think we just end that that thing. So yeah, remember the challenge and thank you for watching us now or later on. And this is Reforesting for Peace. This is Global Youth Coalition. And what? Read again? Yeah, okay. Yes. So join the challenge, create a short reel telling about your experience here at COP, what you learned, and make sure you engage your friends that are also at home so we can all be in this movement together. And yeah, I think all my team can come here and we can take a picture and see. What did I learn at COP? That people are really important and we should like make deep connections with them because we'll never know when we need them.